So you're potentially thinking about a career in the British Army? Well, I've got a few things for you to consider prior to you making that decision. Let's get into it. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Flip me, it feels like a lifetime since I've said them words. To all the concurrent subscribers, I can do absolutely nothing but apologise to you from being AWOL for such a long time. To anyone who's just discovered this video and this channel indeed, that will mean absolutely nothing to you. And to you, welcome. My name is Luke. I'm a serving sergeant within the Army, infantry branch in specific. I've been serving now 15 years this year. Flip me, getting on.
Nice, huh?
This video then, like I said in the sort of title, it's all about sort of what it's going to be, a few considerations to think about prior to joining the British Army. COVID-19.
Mob hysteria sweeps one city. Before long, the nation, and then the world could fall before the blood-curdling...
So the ongoing pandemic has had a huge effect on every flipping aspect of every person's life. The only jobs that have been sort of, well, not the only, but a primarily huge amount of jobs that have been secure during a pandemic and will always be secure are the military services. So RAF, Navy and Army, specifically Army Channel, so we're talking about the Army.
You're goddamn right.
So a lot of people have realised that this is a really secure job, that you were going to have your wage every single month and all the rest of it, which has eluded other people to go, you know what, I can do that, I'm going to get amongst that. So what I would like to say to you, this is a thing to consider. Service is a lifestyle. That catches people out. They think it's just a job type of thing. They come in, they go through training, and they realise, holy, like this is pretty sort of hands-on. You know, you don't really switch off as such. Now, that's not to scare anyone off. Go and flip me, I'm just going to be like working all my life for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not the case. But it does take a little bit more effort than what a normal 9-to-5 job would do, if that makes sense. So 9-to-5 job, clock off. Here, potentially not. Specifically then when you start promoting and you become an NCO, you're going to have to be thinking about the next day during, you know, when you're back at home, if that makes sense. So you may have to do some lesson preps, or you may just generally have to, you've been given a task you need to work towards that task, so you're always thinking back from the task. And that will just alleviate you to do, you would have to then do stuff in your own time. So that's where we're going to come into the lifestyle stuff. It's not a bad thing, but you just need to consider it because it does catch people out whenever they start to realise that this is a life-consuming service. It's not just that normal 9-to-5 job, but it is good. So next thing I want to say is past operations. Many people get, you know, they watch everything online, whether it be here on YouTube or wherever else of all the sort of vast amount of information you can get from different places, is they look at past operations and go, I want to do that. That's why I want to get amongst. That's why I'm joining. Now, don't get me wrong. I've always said in this channel, and I will still stand to today, operations are the prime thing why people should be joining, because when it comes, that's whenever you're giving your 110%, that's when it's time to step up and do whatever trade, specific role, or whatever you've trained to do. That's the time to shine. And more specific then, people will look back at the sort of Afghanistan era, so the Herrick era. Now, I do say a lot of, you know, I do portray pictures on my Instagram, and I do a few old videos where about the Herrick days, but to me, that's just a part of my life. You now who are looking at joining, that's not going to be you. But operations are still happening, and they're just looked differently. They will require someone to be you know, more agile and a little bit more resilient, and just adapt to each operation differently. Still operations, you're still there potentially in smaller teams, going away and just doing a different thing. And you're there training up, you know, different sort of forces and helping them to go forth and sort of alleviate whatever problems they have. That's a very difficult job. I think personally, building up a relationship, so human relation skills with someone who potentially doesn't speak your language, and then you know, passing on your experience to them and getting them to go alleviate, there's a lot more difficulty, and it's a lot more, it could be potentially a lot more rewarding to do that.
How do you say, las armas?
Mira, tú tienes las, ¿cómo se dice? The weapons.
¿Qué es weapons?
What is las armas?
Weapons! Las armas!
Armas, weapons.
Sí, las armas, pero ¿qué es weapons?
Yes, weapons, but what is las armas?
You are the worst f***ing trans.
Okay, so next one is mindset. So this could be like slightly, you could go about this a few different ways, but what I want to allude to quickly is just like, it's no going out saying it. If you have been searching for the British Army now, you will see all the official advertisements and that kind of thing. It has had positive and negative feedback. The whole sort of stuff it's geared towards is like sort of like snowflakes, or, you know, people, the next generation not being, you know, being very soft, and the military is very soft and woke now, and then that could in turn, someone who's looking at joining the army could look at that going, oh, this is going to be an easy ride then. Look at all these comments and all that kind of stuff. You know, the average are that way. You know, all these comments and people are giving their opinion and saying how soft and how woke, and it's just, it's not hard anymore. And then they come in and they get a shock, because I will tell you now, serving in the British Army, you need to have something about you. And that's not to throw you away. If you really, really want something and you want to get amongst it, you have got greatest mentors that you're going to have, because that's what's changed now, is mentoring, investing in people. Whereas back in the day, it was just sort of beast everyone into the ground, and hopefully that sort of 5%, that top third would get through, and there's your good soldiers. But that's not the case anymore. It's just developing people, and it works. It 100% works. It doesn't mean it's going to be any easier. You're still going to be doing all the hard work. That's within basic training, and then even out of basic training, the fitness is still hard to do. Yes, okay, we've left the CFT and all that kind of stuff, people are saying, but that's because we don't really particularly need to do that. Tab for 8 miles with 55 pounds on your back, because the operations aren't the same way. The only time you're going to be doing that is potentially like career courses and, you know, SF selection. But just because we don't do that as an assessment anymore doesn't mean we don't do 8 milers with 55 pounds on our back. We just build up to it correctly. We have stronger bodies now with stronger core, which then leads to less injuries and all the rest of it. So I would tell you now, whatever you're hearing about how the army may be looking like and how we're restructuring, it is not. You still need to be as aggressive, as resilient, as robust as you've ever needed to be before. You have to be so adaptable now, because all the different operations and tasks, and you know, whether it be peacekeeping or helping here back in the UK with things like COVID-19, but then you need to be able to flick the switch and go into that sort of conventional war fighting mindset as well. So there's so many different tasks that we're given, and we're like as busy as we've ever been. So I would say to you, the mindset, do not fall into the trap of thinking it's going to be an easy run, an easy ride, a buckshy wage. When it comes to it, you're going to have to flip and put in the work. And the only way to do that is the mindset of wanting to be there. That's all you got to do. You got to give yourself 110%, and you have to have the mindset to be there at your early stages. And all the mentors and like junior NCOs and sort of senior rangers or senior privates, toms, whatever it may be around you, will then help develop you into whatever soldier you're going to be. So that's what you can really give it 110%, and do not listen to all the stuff where it's gone soft now, it's going to be an easy run. It's not going to be that way. So if you're looking at life of service and you're considering about joining, hopefully that's been a little bit beneficial to you. There's a few videos coming up on the screen now, you know, sort of fitness related and basic training related, which potentially could further aid you in your sort of research. And until then, my name is Luke. If you got something out of it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next video.